Welcome to Tuesday, September 22nd, 2020. It's officially fall now, and it will be a little more fall-like by the weekend. In the meantime, though, we're going to have just a few showers around, and temperatures are still going to be very warm, summer-like warm across the region again today. We do have a weak front. It's going to bring a few showers. We're hoping that might even get a few showers over the Mullen Fire and fires in northern Colorado, but we can't expect this front to really do much in terms of bringing a lot of rain. But there will be a few showers developing today. A stronger cold front is coming for Friday and Saturday. It's not a terribly strong front. It's nothing like the front we had earlier this month, but it will bring noticeably cooler temperatures. A more autumn-like feel is coming to the region for the weekend. And Friday night and Saturday, some locations will get some shower activity. Nothing is big on the horizon over the next 7 to 10 days other than this cold front coming in here to start the weekend. Here's your smoke update. This is the plume of smoke that was over the West Coast and Pacific Northwest late last week, getting pushed off to the east. Notice an increase in smoke from the California fires. Washington and Oregon, not nearly the problem that it was. It's California now. So here's the next plume of smoke coming out of California into here. And if you can look carefully, you can see the plumes from the Mullen Fire and the northern Colorado fires adding to the smoke and haze. So it's building up again. Got to get California fires put out before we can really say we're done with the smoke, I'm afraid to say. Here's the upper level pattern for today. At 18,000 feet, we can see a little ripple right here. Now, this doesn't look like much, does it? But this little dent there in the flow pattern is an upper level wave that's going to be drifting through the Rocky Mountains later today through tonight. It'll be enough to produce some scattered shower activity, make tomorrow a little bit cooler. We do expect a little bit of rain shower activity over the fire areas of southern Wyoming and northern Colorado. Maybe it'll help, but it's not going to be that soaking cold rain that we really need to put those fires out. Then as we go to the end of the week, as we get into Friday night and Saturday morning, notice there's a little bit of a bigger dip in the jet stream right here. Now, this is not what I'd call a terribly strong front. But the air up here is pretty cool, so the air coming in behind the system is going to drop temperatures starting in northern Wyoming and Montana in this region here beginning Friday, then pushing south across the rest of Wyoming into Colorado and Nebraska Friday night and into the day on Saturday. This is what the precipitation totals look like over the next 3 days. A lot of this precipitation up here in the Pacific Northwest has to do with that strong cold front coming in on Friday. This moisture right here over Colorado, Wyoming, and Utah is basically associated with that system that's going to produce some showers later today and tonight. Nothing heavy, but some of you may experience a few showers. Now, looking 10 days out, we do see something interesting showing up. Now, you got to take this with a grain of salt because this is a 10-day forecast. But right around the 1st or 2nd of October, high pressure builds up in the Gulf of Alaska. When a ridge builds here, we go into the fridge as cold air gets released out of Canada. When high pressure builds in the Gulf of Alaska, the door opens and we see waves that could drag in some colder, wet conditions early October, but we don't see anything until then. It may not be till early October before there's another strong or cold, wet system coming our way. In the meantime, it's just going to be these minor fronts. Wanted to update you on solar activity. Take a look at this. 32 days without sunspots. A week ago, NASA came out with a press conference and said that the new solar cycle has started, but they maybe should have waited a week or two because we're still at solar minimum territory. Look at these totals for the last 3 years of days without sunspots. You compare it to the last solar minimum, which was a very impressive solar minimum, 2007 to 2009, but the number of sunspotless days still really, really impressive. I mean, there is a real good possibility 2020 could have over 200 sunspotless days. If those trends continue, we're going to be setting some records. Now, if you go back historically, all the way back to 1849, and you go to where we are now, this is the number of sunspotless days. This is not sunspots, but the number of days without any, which indicates where you are in your solar minimum. Notice where we are right here in 2019. We got to go all the way to around 1909, 1910 to see the number of sunspots higher than this year. But we could go over that if this trend keeps on going. And then if you look back, we had some really big solar minimums in the 1840s, 1850s, all the way up to around that 1909 time frame. But if you notice, since 1909, the solar minimums have not been nearly as strong. So there's definitely an amplitude change with the number of sunspots that are actually going down. So the solar minimums are becoming more intense. So this is a record breaker. You know, we're talking about 110 years or so since we've seen a solar minimum of this strength. And you know what? We really didn't know a lot back then about what that type of solar minimum can do, other than look back in time and note that in this period of time, the Earth was certainly cooler than it is now. Wanted to update you, La Nina, really quickly. Look at these sea surface temperatures. This wedge is just textbook La Nina with all this blue here. Notice also a warm pool. We've got warm in the Gulf of Alaska, cold on the equator. This is an interesting dynamic because if this warm water holds into the winter, this allows that jet stream to buckle up north. That's going to mean possibly some cold weather for parts of North America for the beginning of the winter season, something we'll talk about in later podcasts. Have yourself a good Tuesday. Talk to you on Wednesday.